Just to state a couple of things before this starts. I work for NASA and received this transcript from our colony on Mars. I am posting this on behalf of my colleague. I wasn't sure if I wanted this job. Being far from Earth to set up a colony on Mars, never able to see my family again for the greater good of humanity. But this was a big step for our species, and somebody has to start things. I was hired as a biologist, but also worked as an engineer. Giant machinery was seen outside digging into the Martian planet. We thought we had stumbled across ancient remains of a lost civilization when excavating for minerals. I stood there watching the excavation when my friend John walked up next to me. Pretty big project we got going on, eh? Yeah, what gives? No clue. Something about some relic they found. Got the synagogue guys going nuts. For clarity's sake, John was my good friend, but also one of the security guards. As for the Martian religious folks, they are referred to as the Synagogue of El. Referred to a group of individuals who began to spread a new religion that the ancient Martians were our creators and that they colonized Earth thousands of years ago. They believe that their gods left something behind on Mars to jumpstart human evolution and that we finally found it. Just then, someone ran into the room calling us. You guys better get your suits on, we need some extra help out there. Lucky us, right? I was excited. Curiosity washed over me as I wanted to get a good look at some ancient alien relic. Finally prove we aren't alone. I suited up in my spacesuit and began to make my way to the site. Security personnel kept the synagogue folks at bay. They demanded to see it, that their religious rights were being infringed. Once we were let in, I saw what appeared to be a large stone-like structure molded into the ground. It had some marking glowing in an alien language I didn't understand. Oddly, the closer I got, the more uneasy I felt. One guy got too close to touch the structure, and a few seconds later, he began to put his hands over his head, saying he felt some sort of pain in his brain. Medics arrived and then escorted him out. After repairing one of the machines, I made my way back inside. Once back inside, I saw the man being wheeled into the med bay. Poor guy, the stress of deep space must have gotten the best of him. After all, we don't see much out here, and finding this could just be information overload. Then, I heard the intercom speak. Security to the mess hall. I repeat, security to the mess hall. Let's go see some action, man. Come on, John said. I saw two people getting into an argument, a man and a woman, and the man was upset that the woman called his faith bullshit History Channel mumbo jumbo. Once security calmed down the dispute, someone walked up onto a table and began to speak. It was one of the synagogue priests. My fellow brothers and sisters, rejoice as we have found God. Now is not the time for anger, as I too am eager to see this relic. However, we must be patient. One of the people in the crowd yelled out, "Why do we have to wait and all the workers get to see it? What about our rights?" The crowd cheered him on and began to respond to their own concerns. Now, I understand your frustration, but I have spoken to those in charge, and they assured us once the relic is properly cleared, we will be granted access to visit what our gods have left behind. We must respect their wishes, as they have respected ours. The priest replied. What a nut job, right? John winked at me and then shouted at the pastor. Who's to say what you know is even true? Sure, it's weird and could be some ancient relic that's alien, but in case you haven't noticed, we already conquered heaven, and guess what? God wasn't home. Your God, perhaps. Our God is very much in our presence. Later on that night, we got a call that there was an assault in the med bay. We ran over to the same guy who touched the relic. He had the doctor in his arm with a knife over his throat. We urged him to calm down, but he just said, "Those pills don't work for shit. I can't sleep. He said they would help me, but they don't. I just keep seeing these things in my head, and I can't get them the fuck out." Hey man, easy. Everyone is frustrated, but this isn't going to help. No, fuck this. John took a shot to the man's shoulder, and we managed to restrain him and secure the doctor. After the incident, John and I talked for a bit. Have you noticed something odd lately? What, besides the weird alien rock? John said. Not that. Well, kind of. I mean, the people who got close to it have been acting strange lately. The Mad Bay incident and some of the construction guys complaining of headaches. Deep space, man. It'll drive you crazy sometimes. Just a bunch of guys overworked, nothing to really worry about. Try to take it easy tonight, man. I agreed, and we both headed back to our rooms. That night though, I just felt strange. I read one of my emails, and apparently, one email said that the relic would be removed soon after the short Synagogue of El visit. The next couple of days passed, and I had to visit with the psychiatrist. I told him about my concern about the people who got close to this relic. He said he had noticed an increase in anxiety and depression, insomnia, and psychotic episodes since the relic was uncovered. However, it was not of priority. I was given pills for insomnia in case I couldn't sleep. Unfortunately, I had to be somewhat close to this relic since I had to make sure the machines were of working order before the day started. As I worked, I noticed a group of those synagogue people. I thought their visit was over. I spoke to one of the crew, and he said that they were allowed to observe, but from a distance. They all had some glossy look over their eyes, like a sort of trance. Back inside, I was typing up some emails when I heard a knock on my door. "Come in." John walked in and told me, "Did you hear about this shit?" "What now?" "They plan to remove this relic from the planet." "Today?" "Yeah." "Wait, you know?" "Well, I got an email about it." "Yeah man, I got called twice today, arrested 4 people this afternoon for assault, all claiming that we have to get off the planet and to leave the relic alone. Never thought I'd see that. I thought these people wanted this thing removed for their praying or whatever." Suddenly, I heard the emergency alarm for security. "I know it's your day off, but you have security experience and we could use the extra help if you don't mind. I'll say you're just helping me." I agreed and I suited up and followed John. What happened next? We heard a bunch of gunshots. Then we walked into the mass hall and saw bodies. A bunch of them. The synagogue people committed mass suicide. Apparently, John's partner said they were preaching when they all said they heard God's message by their last visit. They were prepping to meet God. Then they all killed themselves. Then a few hours later, we got called to assist the psychiatrist from being assaulted. We sedated the patient and asked the psychiatrist about what happened. He was frantic speaking about death, and that death was the only way to salvation. Then he just pounced on me. This isn't the first time I have seen this behavior since we have found that relic. "Do you think the relic is making people go crazy?" I asked. "I don't know, but I'm afraid the longer we stay here, the worse this is gonna get." After this, I decided to speak with the colony manager about my concerns about this relic and the effect it was taking on the colony members. But all I got in response was it was out of his jurisdiction and NASA has demanded the collection of the relic for further study back on Earth. Then he told me sternly to leave his office. I made the decision to try to communicate with Earth via satellite. Yes, we have technology that can send messages to Earth in about 10 minutes versus days. But I couldn't get through. It was just static. I had a bad feeling that this was somewhat the calm before the storm. I was at my computer that evening when I heard a knock on my door. I answered it, and it was John. Let me guess, more assaults? No dude, check this out. He showed me a picture of some weird substance growing outside of the building. I also found it on one of the walls close to the morgue. Well, that's fucking weird. Yeah, almost as weird as the surge of psychosis hitting the colony. After a brief period of silence, I said, John, we have escape pods, right? Yeah? Why you ask? You should pack your things. I know this sounds like me jumping to conclusions, but the psychosis and now this weird shit growing around. If there's a situation where we all have to evacuate, we need to be the first ones out of here. Dude, I see what you're saying, but we can't just leave. We would be in deep shit. We're already in deep shit. Look, if things get out of hand, I want you to message my radio, and we will meet at the escape pod north, okay? John agreed and told me to be safe. The next day came. Now, I spent my off time looking into what these strange symbols meant. When I told my boss I was working on emails and computer work, I was really researching. The relic resembled a DNA-like structure, and after looking at a sample of the weird substance growing, I think I figured it out. That's when I radioed John to tell him about my discovery. When he came to my room, I began to explain it when his radio went off. Relic is getting removed in 5 minutes. Oh shit, I forgot that was today. I got a sudden chill and then told John about my discovery. The relic wasn't of worship, it was a warning from removing it. It gave off electromagnetic waves to keep anyone close from touching it, explaining the psychosis. As for the weird substance, that was dead tissue. Whatever this tissue originated from was mutated at the cellular level and spreads. Though how it spreads, I'm not sure. As this came into the realization, that's when the ground shook and the relic was removed, followed by a power outage. We moved towards the intercoms to try to get the message out that we lost power. John and I made our way to the generator to try to reboot the thing. As I began my work, I finally got the generator to work. The power came back on, and we went back to the security room to check the cams. John tried to radio his partners, but no reply. Which was weird, since they should be in the security room. Once we got in, we saw mangled bodies. Like someone sliced these people with a machete along with that substance growing on the walls. John began to work the intercom to radio this to his colleagues when he heard security in the south section.
Somebody help us! We're being attacked! It's killing us!
What is? John replied. Checking the camera, the other security guard, looking around frantically, then said, Oh my god. Oh my god. Annie's head got sliced clean off by some weird creature. It was tall, lower jaw removed, with the top row of its mouth showing sharp fangs, and instead of arms, it had sharp, blade-like limbs. Then the camera feed cut off. John tried to get a hold of the others, when we saw movement in the corner of the room. Some bat-like creature was stabbing some tentacle into the head and spinal cord of a body, and the body began to move frantically, mutating before our very eyes. What? What the fuck? John said. I told John we had to leave now, and we ran into the hall. As we made our way to the escape pods, he asked me, What the fuck is happening? I figured it out. That substance we've been seeing around the colony is a type of DNA that mutates genes at a cellular level like a virus, but it spreads through only necrotic flesh, mutating dead bodies like the ones in the morgue. Okay, so what the hell killed the security personnel in the first place? John asked. No idea, but it doesn't matter. We have to get out of here before everyone packs the escape pods. As we entered the room, we were too late. Everyone was trying to do the same. That's when all hell broke loose. those things began to attack everyone. One of them swung its blade at John, barely missing him and shattering the control panel to the closest escape pod. "We need to get the fuck out of here," John screamed. We ran back, and I had no idea where John was taking me. But that's when I realized it. There was one area where we could get the message out to Earth about what is going on, and it would be at the main satellite room. When we opened the door, our hopes dropped. The substance was growing all over the place, which explains why I couldn't get a hold of the satellite orbiting Mars that transmits back to Earth. "Do you think you can fix it?" "There's nothing we can do. There's no way I can clear through all this," I replied, defeated. That's when we heard a grotesque noise, and it was one of the creatures. It jumped down towards us, and we made way for the exit. Just as I got in, John was right behind me when I saw his chest get pierced through. He coughed up blood, gave me a smile, and closed the door, locking me in. "John, no!" I yelled. And now, here we are. I'm typing this on one of the computers, sending it out to a friend back on Earth. Hopefully, by some miracle, this gets out there. I haven't seen or heard from anyone for 12 hours. Take it from me, Mars is not the place for humanity, and stay the fuck away from here at all cost. You won't like what you'll find.